Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you guys know, in our last tutorial, we had learned about the very basics of use state hook with the help of counter. In today's tutorial, we will be learning use state hook that will be depending upon the previous state. Let's go ahead. We will be taking the similar example that we had done in the last tutorial is counter. We will be implementing the counter again in today's tutorial, but in a different way. So let's move forward. Let's see how we'll implement the counter by today. Let me remove the old code. I'll be creating a new component that is pretty much fine. Here in my component, I'll say hook counter 2.js RFC React functional component, and in that one what I want here is inside div I want to show first of all h1, and that will show me the count value equals to, and I'll say x. Okay, and then after that what I want here is I want to have a button that will help me to increment the counter. Then I want to have another two buttons. The second one will help me to decrement the counter, and the last one will help me to reset the counter. What I want here is I want to have a use state hook to create a counter. What I will do, let me just first import this one in my app.js. I'll say hook counter 2.js. Let me move forward to my React application, and I will show you guys here that counter value x. It's appearing very normally. X should be replaced with our counter value. Let me move forward and build up the functionality. What I can do here, I have to do here is I have to do const, and inside const I'll say counter, and the method setCounter. I will import both of these from useStateHook, and I will pass the initial value. I'll say const initial value equals to 0. I will just pass this initial value as an initial value to my useStateHook, and I will get two different variables returned back from useStateHook. One is my current value for the counter, and the other one is setting method that will help me to set up the current value. So here what I want in place of x, now I want counter, and with the help of these buttons now I will increment, decrement, and reset the counters. So let me save on click. What I want on click, I want to have an arrow function and then set counter. What set counter will do? Counter plus 1. Same thing I will copy for the other one as well, and the last one also. The second decrement, it will be -1, and for the reset it will be initial value. That's it. Let's move forward to our project, our browser. You guys can see counter is working very fine, and it's very normal, incrementing, decrementing very easily. So you guys will be thinking like it's very normal. It's similar to our old video what we have done, or our old lecture what we have take in the state regarding your state hook. Let me tell you, like, this is very normal that you can use the set counter in this way, but I will explain it to you in a way that it's not safe. How it's not safe? Let's move forward and try to have another example in the same counter to understand why it's not safe. I will say I now I have to increment the value not one time, like +1. I have to increment it +5. I'll say there is another button called increment 5, and I have to increment this value 5 times. So what I have to do is I'll say const increment by 5 equals to arrow function, and here I'll say for, I will make a loop, for loop. Inside this loop I will say if it's less than 5, just keep continue, and what I have to do here is I have to increase the value for the counter. Set counter equals to counter plus 1. Okay, this is what I have to do here. And here I will call this increment counter. Okay, that's it. It's very normal. It should work as per normal state, as per the knowledge we have from the last video. Let's move forward and try to click on increment 5. You guys can see it's not incrementing it by 5. It's incrementing it plus 1 only. Your use state hook is not depending on your previous state. So what we have to do here is we have to take the value of previous state. How you will get access to previous state? But not by the parameter that you are passing to set counter. It shouldn't be an exact value that you want to set in your counter. You should pass callback function, and the first parameter for that function will take previous state as an input. Previous counter, I can say. It should have access to the previous value of that counter. And then what you will return? Previous counter plus 1. Now let's move forward and try to reload the page, and then you can see if I will click increment plus increment 5 button, I'm getting plus 5. So now with the help of previous state, you are incrementing the counter. Every time you are incrementing the counter, this is the safe or safest way to update the state value. You should always take the value if the current value is dependent on the previous value of your count of your state in case of counter, as you guys can see in example. So you must take the previous state. Let me call this copy this function here. What I should do here is I'll copy and paste it here. I'll copy this one and paste it here as well. Here it's plus 1, here it should be minus 1. Let's reload the page and you guys can see my increment counter is working very fine now. Exactly, very normally. So this is how you can increment or you can update the state value by using your previous value or the last saved value in the state. That's it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.